Hey y'all, welcome back to Chat with Coach Amy. Today it's me, myself, and Darlene. Darlene, it's been a minute.
It has. Hello, everybody.
I'm
Hello.
gonna charge my phone while we're sitting here.
Sounds
What are we
fantastic.
talking about
Multitask.
today?
Oh, there's so much going on. There's so much going on. Where do we begin? Where do we begin? Um,
I want to talk for just a second about what we were just talking about in the Jeep when I was driving and we were Marco Poloing, since we talk to each other constantly, it feels like. So I was talking to you. I don't know. I just think it brings up a good point. So I was talking to you about the rest of my day, and that look at this. You see that? That I feel like on Friday I shouldn't have to work, which I don't have to, but I want to. Like, I'm so excited. And it ties in probably what you're about to say, but like, I'm excited and I'm thinking about all the stuff, especially like holiday coming up and the holidays coming up. But I love my job and I want to
I
do
know it makes
stuff.
a difference. And I was thrilled to hear you say that because ultimately I think that's what everybody wants who has to work, like whether actually inside the home or outside the home. We want to be like, it's so much more enjoyable,
Mm-hmm.
every day to be walking out what you're actually enjoying than trudging through it. So
Yeah.
I was excited to hear. It's just exciting to hear you say that because it is. This is what we love doing, and it's great. It's great. It gives you more passion. It gives you more drive, I think, to do, to learn more, to do, to want to be more. So I think it's
Yes.
awesome.
So right now I don't know how public I've talked about this, but hiding it. It's just whatever. I'm only doing 4 million things at one time all the time. But um I'm in the middle of a thyroid certification, which I'm still not quite sure how that's gonna make me certified and what it means, except for that I watched the videos and half the time I was like, what? I am not a doctor. But that's not what it's for. It's for people like me with what I do. But
Yep.
I'm also, because I mean, why not, doing a life coach certification. But that, wow, I like, I have to make myself stop and not like do the next one. So the first night I did 3 in a row because I couldn't quit. I just loved it.
I think that I think the thyroid thing, just really quick on the other one, I think there's so many people with so many questions. And like you said, you can answer so many of them, but you pray that during a class like that, that you'll be thrown something that's, something different that maybe it will apply to
Yeah.
somebody.
Yeah.
That life,
And I've
that's
learned some
exciting.
stuff. I have, but a
Yeah.
lot, the last couple of sessions that we've had to do were very medically. And I'm like, I don't know. That's above pay grade over here. you know, but the life
That's a,
coach, been good. It's been really
yeah.
good. And I've
So
already been
now
able
how
to
long,
implement.
how,
Sorry, go
oh,
ahead.
go ahead, sir. No, I was just going to ask, how long is that? Those kind of courses?
Um, the thyroid one has 17 videos, and I'm finishing 16, so I'm almost done. And then the health coach one has 12. I'm sorry, life coach. The life coach has 12, and after every video, I take a test to make sure, and I think I've made 100 on all of them. It's just makes sense to me, you know. Like
Yeah.
it's good. I don't have to try really. I mean, like I'm learning new stuff that I didn't know before, but I'm so interested in it. It just like, you know,
Yeah. I think that's the passion part, right? I mean, your clients are going to appreciate it. I know I do. Like when you have something new and fresh, that we just, oh yeah. And
yeah,
even if it's something that maybe we've heard again, it's that when you've heard things, more than one time and you think you got it, and then all of a sudden it just comes together. So
yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
think a lot of us need that. I think
Right.
so. I don't know what it was this mean. I know I've said this probably like in all the places, but 100 strong this year's nuts for me. Amy, I'm not even kidding. Something clicked pretty, I don't know. And I couldn't tell you what it was, but it's been so awesome. I feel so good. Feel so good.
You
It's
told
crazy.
me that it's easy.
Yeah. It's not work. It's not that
Mhm.
striving, to get it done every day. It's like I literally fill in my little square at the end of the day when
Mhm.
that
I am
just it's over.
behind on that. Yeah.
I just
We
love
at
it. Well,
day
my
40 yet?
children,
We got to be at day 40, huh?
we are, I think we're 42. Is today 42? I think.
I am behind. Yeah, it is.
So
I filled
exciting.
everything real quick, like.
Yeah. I love doing it because it's just, I don't know what it is this time. And you want to
I'm
share
so
it. Like, I want
glad.
to share it. I wish I could tell people, like, I know you know this,
Well,
but
you're
when
telling
you,
them
when you're,
right now, man.
well, I know, but you like that key, because I think so many times we all want just this key, this answer that's just gonna do it. And I wish that we could give it to anybody what it is, but I couldn't even tell you what it was this time that was different.
It's doing
Um,
it again.
yeah. And maybe that's just it. Repetition, making the habits, just doing it again and
Yeah.
again.
Did you
Um,
watch my live from this morning? Did you
I
ever get a
didn't
chance?
yet. I didn't.
I know you like House Full of Chaps, but I went on. I normally do what I call a sweat drive with my community front with past and present clients. It's over on the Facebook for them. Um, they have to turn in an evaluation to get into the group. I'm a little sneaky that way, but I decided today I go live with them pretty consistently on Wednesdays because Wednesday was my hardest day to go for some reason to the Crossy Fit. And so I started rewarding myself whenever I would go on Wednesday, I would get a Starbucks iced Americano. Now that's freezing cold all of a sudden. I got a hot Americano. So I do a live with them while I'm driving to Starbucks, while I'm in the line, and when I'm driving home. And I'm just talking about my life. Who knows what I'll talk about? I ain't no telling what I'll talk about, but they love it. And then I decided, I could go live every Monday, every Wednesday, every Friday in there with them, but I can reach so many more people and use my time a little more wisely if I would do it public. So I decided to give it a whirl this morning. And I had a lot to say apparently. And it was really, I was like, wow, because sometimes when I talk, I don't want to say motive, that sounds like a negative word, but like there's a reason for what I'm saying. And so sometimes though, it's just out of the heart, the mouth speaks. There's a scripture, I don't even know where it is, but it says that somewhere in the Bibles. And it just came out. So I was like, I want to share and celebrate, and it came together, shareabrate. And so I'm like, okay, fine, hashtag shareabrate. We're gonna shareabrating together. And I laughed at myself. Y'all have to go watch the video. But anyway, I was shareabrating that for 3 weeks in a row, I've gone to CrossFit 3 times. And that is so huge to me. And that just got me thinking, and someone else has mentioned this to me recently, that people may look at me and the lady I was talking to, her as well, and see success. They see success when they look at us. And what people don't know who don't know us, because you know all the bumps and scars and all that. They don't see that. And so they assume that I've always had it made. You've always had a wonderful marriage. You've always been skinny. I'm kind of tired of being called skinny. It's getting a little tired of it. I am fit. I am fit. I'm healthy. I don't want to be skinny. My legs aren't skinny. I'm sorry. They're not.
Oh,
They're
no.
amazing, but they're not skinny. I worked hard for my muscle mass. I
Yeah.
worked hard to be on plan. I worked hard to break the bondage of emotional eating. I worked hard to deepen my relationship with God so that I wouldn't go to food for comfort. Like, I worked hard for a lot of that stuff. Even our house. Your kitchen is gorgeous. I've had people, how much did it cost for you to build your kitchen? I'm like, I don't know. I've had it for 12 years. I don't know. Wes did it all himself. Him and his dad did that. You know, like, yeah.
But it's the same
anyway.
idea.
And
They
so,
worked hard at it. It's like that work they worked hard at their trades to be able to produce something like that.
yeah, yeah. So always think through that, people, because Satan is going to rob you of your future because you see somebody that you aspire to be, and he's going to let that be yucky, and you're never
Mm,
going to accomplish a thing because he's going to freeze you right there.
yep.
And I'm not going to have that, especially if they're following my page, because I want people to know that you have the opportunity. Maybe you do have some kind of medical crisis where you can't go to CrossFit. Fine. You can do something. Donovan Green, I've talked about him all kinds of times this week.
Yep.
He has free YouTube videos that teach you how to exercise from your chair. You don't even have to stand up. You don't have to get on the ground. There are people that can teach you to exercise while you're laying on your bed, free on YouTube. I'm sharing videos, recipes. The cookbooks have it for Trim Healthy Mama on how to do it. The Trim Healthy cookbooks have the plan in it. Read them. Take a minute. Quit scrolling Facebook and read it. You don't have to have a coach. I
Right.
didn't have a coach. You know, like, stop making excuses.
And it's so easy.
Ooh,
I think
ooh.
that's to make excuses. It is like it's so easy to see that.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's part of it too. Maybe that's part of it is that's getting over the hump of that hard. Because man, once you
Absolutely.
start,
Yeah. And I,
oh
I, I really, I've been there. I've been in that spot where I couldn't see my future. I was so bogged down with all of my problems. So I'm not saying anything against anybody or judging at all, but I'm here to tell you that if you dig deep and you try and you put forth some effort and you ask for help and accountability, and every single time that you need to make a decision for you, you do it.
yeah,
I shared a reel the other day. It was like day one on the gym. At the gym, you're not going to see anything. Day 10, you're probably not going to see anything. But day 100, new person, Oh, that's so good.
yeah. No,
That's
I
where I
completely
am
agree.
7 years
Yeah.
later.
And maybe that's why it's gotten so easy this time. I think you have to get past that point. I don't know what that point is. I used to always hear that about running. I'm not a runner. I don't enjoy
No,
running. There is nothing
no.
about running that I have ever realized that I don't enjoy. My husband loves it. I mean, it's I don't want to say it's easy for him because I know it hasn't been easy, but he enjoys it. But I would always hear people say that did like long distance running that if you get to a certain point, like I don't know if it's time or distance, I can't remember. Um, but once you get to that point, it feels different and then you can go longer and it's not
Yep.
as hard. And
Yep.
maybe that's just it. It's when you get past, and I don't know if it's day 10 or day 20, or I don't know what day it is, but maybe it's if you keep going, if you just keep going, you're going to hit a point where it's not worth, you have that feeling of good health. You have that feeling, this is worth it. Like, and then it doesn't become as hard. Maybe that's it. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly, and I think it's great that you're doing that you did that today. Um, Even though I haven't listened to it yet, but I know that your followers, I'm sure, are super grateful because somebody needed to hear what you had to say.
Yeah.
Somebody did.
One of my
And that,
fellow coaches, and I'm actually going to get to meet her in person, Lord willing, next week. She just commented, she goes, "Well, I wasn't ready to cry my eyeballs out," pretty much what she was saying. And I'm like, "Oh, I didn't mean for people to cry, but if it brings you to that emotional point in your life where, you know, and she's doing awesome. She is an amazing person. But like, I even shared about our kids, like, y'all got 5 kids. We couldn't have kids. And I said that. I don't know. Because like after Katie, I couldn't have kids either. I adopted, what I mean? Wasn't easy. Even my girls, conception of the girls, birth of the girls, postpartum with the girls, none of that was easy. I still can't believe I had 3 in a row like that because it was all so difficult. But y'all don't know that, or you do, but people coming to me new, they don't know. What is that? You don't know the cost of my alabaster box.
yeah,
Oh,
yep,
you guys. So whoever you are looking up to, make it be that they are an inspiration and you find joy and love in their success. Because if they have a heart to help people like I do, we don't want our success to make you feel less than. We want it to build you up.
Yeah. And
Ooh,
I know you do. I know how much you want to be able to give that, that to somebody. And it's like, how do you package it and give it to like them? Because I think that's everyone's desire is
yeah.
to be able to. But I think it's just doing it. It's just doing it and not, and it could be anything. I mean, it's not like necessarily specific to one thing, like knowing what you have to do. Man, I just wish there was a thing. Like I wish there was just,
There is
but it's just,
consistent
yeah,
discipline. That's the
it
thing.
is.
But
Yep,
it's
I
hard.
100% agree.
Consistent discipline. Yeah. And so, I just really want to encourage you if you're listening today and you are in just the pit, I've been there and you can get out. You just have to do it every single day. Choose for
Yep,
you.
yep.
And that didn't mean that I made my family less than in my life,
Mm-mm.
but I still made that choice. I didn't roll over and play dead. You know what I mean? Okay, fine. I told my kids, hold on a minute, mommy needs to fuel. Or
Yeah,
I asked Wes, how can I start working out? What can we do to make this work? And it
right.
may be you can't go to the gym because of your budget. Well, I mean, do you have a floor in your house? Can you walk outside? Walking outside is free. Water is
Yeah,
free. YouTube is free. And I don't like quit it.
yeah.
Christina, you remember Christina's podcast? I think it was about a year ago. It might have been 2 years ago now. She has MS, a lot of health
Oh,
challenges.
yeah.
And she told me,
Yeah.
I'm finding solutions. I'm looking for solutions. She can't stand up in the kitchen for a long time. So she brought a bar stool in and she has it next to her counter. So when she can't stand up anymore, she knows it's about to be that little time. She sits down on a bar stool or she takes her project to the table and sits down. So I cut vegetables standing up. She might set that up at her table and sit and do it. Like let's find some solutions.
Yeah. No, for sure. And those little ones add up. I think they make such a big impact. They
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. That's some good stuff. What
It
else you got
is.
for us today?
It is. I'm trying to think of what else we were talking about earlier really quick on that note on the drive thing, like you said, when you had said somebody had been touched by that. I think that that's what uh, being able to share behind the scenes. I mean, I don't, I'm the firm believer that not everyone has to know everything that happens behind the scenes, but I think that that inspires people too, you know, and I think that's the best part of being able to find the community that fits for you and what's best for you is that you don't have to be like anybody else. Maybe, um, you're like we've talked, like the lurker that hangs out behind. But if you're
Mm,
still in the community that has the same values and the same goals and is encouraging, even if you're quietly behind and not, speaking up all the time, I think the impact is so important. So the fact that you went and did that for all the public people is amazing. Like, I think that's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So
for me, it didn't take anything out of my day, you know, and if I can help people, that's my goal. That's why I became a coach. That's why I keep going. It's because I want to help. I do.
yeah, you
Mhm.
do. Like you really do. I just want to scream it from the mountaintop sometimes because I think that some people, you know what I mean? Those, like you said, it's different now. That's one thing. When people have come in and they have their extra words and their hurtful words and how you can now process those so differently. That
Mm,
growth you can't see. Like I
mm,
can't, a person couldn't see that in you or see that, but you know it's tremendous because you worked, whether it's your relationship with God, however you process, but that's an area that we can't tangibly touch,
yeah,
but it's change.
for
And maybe
sure.
that's just it. Being able to explain it to people. And the THM what we do, right? The foods we eat and don't eat. And people want a tangible, and sometimes there's just not a tangible to give people. So I think that's a great example of that kind of thing, is that growth and that stretch. And you may not be able to tell somebody or have them feel all the feelings you feel inside. Like, I want to be able to tell people I feel so good, but I think that it does. Speaking of that, though, as I just thought of that, you do have that webinar coming up. And I think that that
Ooh.
webinar is going to be amazing. I don't know if any of you guys out there struggle with this, but I know I do. Trying to explain to people what we do and for them to understand what we're doing simply and without it being like, even I think Debbie talked about it in the podcast.
Yeah.
She was last week about going to a restaurant or going out. I'm pretty sure it was Debbie that was talking about how having the freedom of not having to be a big deal, just being able to order food and not have to explain anything. Um, so I'm excited for you to talk more about that because I know you talk about that to, your group clients and stuff, and we talk about it. But I think that again, for other people that might be struggling with that, because I think people, man, that flesh, right, of ours, and we worry about what man thinks,
Yep.
more often than we should. I know I'm guilty of it 100%.
Oh, me
So
too, for sure.
yeah. And so having that freedom that there's nothing to be judged about the choices you make for your healthy life, for your journey. And I
Yeah.
think that's with what you were just talking about with your family. It doesn't have to be you feel selfish for making decisions that improve your journey. You talk to your family about it. It's an open conversation and so
Because you're
I'm
making
excited for that one.
changes to improve your life.
You
If
are.
if you go to the doctor and you're diagnosed that you have a broken leg, you are going to get a cast. You may have surgery. You've got to have physical therapy. You're going to come home and say, family, I have a broken leg. I've got to get a cast. I've got to have surgery. I've got to have physical therapy. But
Yeah.
the opposite happens when you decide to take control of your life and begin to improve your health by changing the way you eat, changing the way you view food, changing the way that you live your day-to-day life, because you might be fueling more frequently like we do as trim healthy mamas, or working out consistently in your week, or drinking more water. It's weird. It's all of a sudden weird and taboo. And we got to get rid of that. That's
Yep.
ridiculous.
Right.
That is, this is your broken leg. Just tell them,
Yeah.
hey, yo,
Yeah.
I'm going to improve my health. This is what I'm going to be doing. You do you. This is what I'm going to be doing. And if
Yep.
you could give me a little high five every now and then, that'd be great.
Right.
And you
Right.
don't have to understand it. And that's okay,
Right.
because you just don't, and it's fine. So,
Right.
that's some
And it
good
works
stuff.
both ways. Like they may not understand, but it's okay. And
It's okay.
we don't
That
judge.
still is like, he will make some time, and he's like, okay, I did potatoes and I did like bone-in chicken type whatever, and I'm like, oh bless. I was like, okay, I
Yeah.
love a crossover. And he's like, man, like I didn't quite get it right. And I'm like, it's okay. He said, well, I didn't put white rice. I'm like, that's right, you didn't do white
Right.
rice. He's got that.
Right.
And y'all, he's Mr. Coach Amy, so we've been doing this almost 7 years, and so it's still no, he hasn't done buds. But
Yeah.
it's still he's listening, and he's hearing,
Yeah.
and he's understanding. But I did have somebody say, I just don't know what to do because my husband just won't be on plan. And I'm like, well, that's not on plan. And that's what they were asking me. What do I do? Like,
Yeah.
how do you get your husband on plan? And doesn't it worry you when didn't it worry you when he wasn't on plan? I'm like, he's not. We worked towards that for a little bit, but he's
Yeah.
not. And it's okay. It's
Yeah.
okay. I said, because he's a grown person.
Yeah.
A grown person, and he has to make that decision for himself.
Yeah.
And he chooses not to, and I have to be okay with that. It does
Yeah.
break my heart a little bit, because I know, I'm like, well, did you la 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 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, no, I guess I didn't, or I could have done this better, whatever. And we kind of make a joke out of it, but I'm not crying a river about it, because there's
When it's
probably
heavy.
things that he wants me to do that I don't do, but it is
Right.
what it is.
When it's so heavy to carry that,
Yeah.
especially when
Yeah.
if you're the primary, cook of the home, like I am, so I'm making 3 meals a day, ideally for my family. And if you're carrying that weight every meal, because there was a time that happened to me. I have the light thing going with the black.
Oh,
I'm trying to find the
yeah,
spot.
there it is.
Yeah. Um, it's heavy and it's overwhelming. And I think what's interesting is it wasn't kitchen fatigue that people talk about that mention
Yeah.
about me not being in the kitchen all the time. My weight, or that I thought was heavy, was if people didn't, are they going to not like this recipe? Is my family not going to eat it? Do um, I want them to maybe make healthier choices and they're choosing not to. That I think was such a bigger weight for me, the emotional side of that,
Oh yeah.
that that's where once I started letting go of that, like I'm still going to make a rounded plate for them. It may include macaroni and cheese one night, and that's okay for them to eat. And then I just don't. But I used to carry it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I used to carry that weight of, I don't know, like of wanting them to make a better choice. But it's okay. I don't know. That was more of the weight than being in the kitchen because I'm going to be in the kitchen. I have a lot of little people who can't cook for themselves.
Hmm.
So I would have to
And
do
you're
it no
home
matter
with
what.
them all day, and right now that's
Yeah,
your job, you know?
right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So
I will
that I
never
would love to.
forget. I had a one-on-one come in. This was probably a year or two ago, and um, I sent out the first menu, and she sent me a message. She went, "So now I know why I chose you, or why God sent you to me, or something." And she goes, "You just put Annie's mac and cheese on the menu as the crossover option for an S meal for your
Right,
family. You have Annie's mac and cheese." She goes, "That's real." And
right,
I'm like, yeah, I'm probably like this week ain't happening to scratch macaroni and cheese.
right,
Annie's is a step up from generic. And if you have to buy generic for your family, I have been there too. It's fine.
right.
You do you, man.
Yep.
But we choose Annie's because of a lot of other issues. And I'll be honest,
Yeah,
I haven't thought that in a long time now, but it was really cool to hear that, from her, because I'm just like, oh yeah, da da da, I don't think a thing about half the stuff that I
right.
do. But it's
And I
profound.
think, yeah, it is. And that 100%, I 100% agree with that because it's true. It's, they have the chicken nuggets, you
Yep,
get,
that's what we're having tonight.
right. And
They are having
and
tonight,
it's,
not me. They are.
right. But I don't feel the weight of that. I know I did at one point trying to make everybody healthy. And we hear that all the time with people
But the
and
longer that we go,
yeah,
we're learning ways to improve their health. And honestly, this day and age with groceries the way that they are, it is almost impossible. It is impossible. It's impossible for me for everything to be grass fed, grass finished, organic, blah, 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 blah. First of all, here, I couldn't find all of that if I wanted to. But
yeah,
feeding 7 people with all of those restrictions is next to impossible. But we teach our kids to eat eggs and a breakfast meat and some fruit at breakfast. We
yeah,
teach them that it's okay to have whole grain bread. We teach them that if you're going to have a peanut butter and jelly, you probably need to we're going to use this sugar-free peanut butter. I do that. They do that.
yeah,
But you need a little more protein because that's not much, that kind of stuff. Like, and I'm teaching them that, and that makes me very happy.
yeah.
It does.
Because they do, especially when you have your people then say to you, I mean, mine do that too with the protein now. Because I know, especially in a couple of my children, it makes a really big difference. I have a couple
Mhm.
children that are super fast burners, and specifically one. And so if he doesn't have protein with a meal, granted, it's sooner than later. By three, he gets grumpy before he gets hungry almost. And it's not worth it for any of us. Like I've tried to talk to him about it. Like this is what's causing that. Like you're getting upset and agitated because you didn't have enough of this. So here's our options for that, and you can pick one. You don't have to have this specific one when you're making your breakfast plate, but it's really important because it changes how you feel inside. And for me, that's a battle, the what is it, the hill you die on or don't
Yeah, I
die
say that
on.
all the time. That's a
There's
hill I'm
certain,
down. You're gonna have
yeah,
protein.
right, because it's the end result isn't good for him, but it's not good for the family dynamic. then they're fighting, and then it's, there's all the
Speaking of
things.
that, for a mom, a busy mom, the fact that Trim Healthy Mama taught me that I need to fuel on a regular interval, that healed all kinds of trauma drama in my house because
Yep.
moms, and I see this happen time again, especially with one-on-ones, because I'm looking so closely at what they're doing. When you go over that 4-hour threshold, you're going to lose your mind if you don't get protein.
Yep.
Because your body is going, and so you do. You go, and then you're saying things you don't mean. You're doing things you don't want to do. You're throwing things you don't want to throw, because I've been there, and then you are feeling full of shame and regret.
Yep.
So timing is important for a lot of reasons, and that's another good one.
It is. It's huge because it's not just, like you said, the feelings are going to come. You're still going to have a bad day. You're still going to have instances at home that are going to kind of rock you and you're going to get upset. But boy, do they explode even bigger when our physical body is not handling it well. Like it's we're trying to manage our heart and our head. The physical part is just another piece that if you can keep that storm at bay, then it helps the situation. I completely agree. And I noticed it in other people, like my little people. And that's when I was like, okay, it's fine that we all don't like the same soup. We all don't have to like it. And I've gotten to the point where that's okay. I don't have to appease all 6 of us for dinner. This is what's for dinner. And you may not care for it so much today. You may care for tomorrow's dinner better. And it may be vice versa. So they're all kind of working through that. But I know that being consistent with them too, with little ones, if you have a little one that has, that has, oh, sorry, I totally lost my train of thought. Maybe like a food aversion kind of idea. My son did not like sweet potatoes. He didn't. And so we had like the 5 bite, but I mean, you don't have to have 5 bites, but 4 bites or whatever. But now he eats them every time I make them because he has grown to like it. And I think any of us can testify to that when we were a child, not liking something. And then when we became an adult, then we started eating things. I mean, my mom liked super spicy food growing up, and I didn't like all the things that she would put in addition to her food. But now I do. So I think it works for little people too. So starting small, and maybe making the expectations smaller than what we do. That striving for perfection again can really make it really hard on ourselves. Uh-oh, I think, are you frozen?
Yeah.
Did we lose Coach Amy? I think I lost
it's my internet.
Uh-oh.
Can you hear me then?
I can hear you fine.
Coach Amy's internet is unstable. That's okay.
Well, I can hear you fine.
Good. Well, we'll probably wrap it up because it's about that time. Yeah. And that's a perfect. That's great. I'm so glad. So that's so good. That was so good. I love that we can just come together and be like people. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. And it's true. I mean, these are the things that are, these are real life things. It's a real life things. One step at a time, one little thing, they all add up.
We're all about over here.
Yeah.
Yep. We're all about that real life over here in Southern and Healthy.
Couldn't make it if it wasn't.
Yeah, for sure. You want to tell them bye?
All right. Bye, everybody. See you soon.
Bye, y'all. Thanks for listening. Hey y'all, I am Coach Amy Gaskin, and I'm here to invite you to my 5th annual Have a Trimtastic Holiday. We're going to be doing so many amazing fun things in this 6-week course. It will begin on November 12th, so get in now. I want to be able to support you during your holiday season. So let me help you stay strong during this holiday season so that January 1, 2024 is the best you've ever had. So what are we going to do? We're going to have Bible study devotions. In November, we're going to be focusing on the book of Colossians and, of course, thankfulness. But I'm going to have a little spin on it to kind of change it up for you guys. Also, there'll be nightly accountability posts where you won't plan. That's what we're wanting to do.
If you do not want to participate in those, that's okay too. There will be 3 exclusive holiday live Q&A sessions where you can turn in questions ahead of time and I will answer them, or you can ask them live and I'll answer them there. These will all be holiday driven. What issues are you struggling with so you can stay on plan during your holidays? Also, 3 festive live cooking demos. I'm going to come to you the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, the Friday before Christmas, and the Friday before New Year's with lots of fun recipes to support you during your holidays. I have a lot of tips that I want to share with you guys. I also have specific menus to set your holiday up for success. So let's create your holiday strategy together. All right, so what you waiting for? Get registered, girl. If you're 100 strong, you have a 50% discount. Don't forget to use it. Bye, y'all.